Hello everyone, welcome back to CollectioNeo. Yes, it's me, Alex, and this is going to be something a little different than a review this time. It's just going to be me talking. Well, yes, I know you're saying, Alex, but it's always just you talking. Yeah, this is going to be a bit more loose than a review, let's say. I don't know what I'm going to call this. I'm thinking, hey, let's talk about Zoids. So yeah, this is a little video I've just kind of felt like doing on Zoids. If you don't know what Zoids are, let me inform you. So Zoids is a thing that came out in the UK in the 80s. It's a Japanese thing, as most cool things are. And basically what they were was a kit of a animal. Say an animal, a robotic animal. Anything from, as you can see here, big cats, to insects and bugs, to dinosaurs and dragons and anything really. Slugs. There's a slug kind of one. And yeah, in the 80s, I think they came out here about 86. Because I remember my mum and dad bought me a bunch of them for Christmas, and my dad built them all for me. And I just used to turn them on and let them walk into each other kind of thing. And they used to shout at me for, don't do that, they'll break them. And I was kind of too young for them, but, you know, I've always loved mecha. And I've always kind of loved dinosaurs and stuff. So this kind of, as David Brent do, fuse them. So growing up then, when I was about probably 12, 13, maybe 13. So about 1995, 96. Tomy, who makes Zoids, released Zoids 2 in the UK. And I was probably too old by then to be buying toys, but that hasn't stopped me. I'm now 36. And they were basically the original Zoids that I remembered, but a few new designs that had only been out in Japan and not made it over here, or maybe made it into... Oh, actually, no, let's go back a bit before that. It must have been about 93, 90... It must have been 94, actually. Because, reminiscing, I'd just gone to high school that year, and I'd bought them for my birthday. And then later that year, we went to Florida in America. In October of 94, I think it was. And I bought Technozoids, which again were Zoids that were released in Japan by Tomy, but the Technozoids were made by Kenny. And I remember buying a few there. So I must have bought, Zoids 2 must have been about 1993, beginning of 94. And I just went nuts and bought everything that I could. So the big T-Rex one is called Zoidzilla, or Gajulus in Japan. That's a standout one. I remember buying Iron Kong from a friend at school and all this. And then, as usual, all these things went on something else, probably more video games. And then the Zoids went up the loft. And then I'd say about 7 years, they've been up the loft all that time, bits, and they had the Ultrasaurus, which is a huge Zoid, like a Brachiosaurus version. And they all went up the loft. And then about 6-7 years ago, I got them down, went through them, sorted them out and sold them to buy, obviously, either at that point it was probably arcade games because I had an arcade machine and all that, or it's to buy Gunpla, which was kind of the evolution of Zoids for me. Gunpla, if you don't know, is Gundam kits. Very, very similar thing, but a lot more complicated than Zoids were. Not so much now, as we'll get on to. And I bought so much Gunpla. I bought, so many kits. If you go back onto my channel, a few of the first videos, there's one just called Gundam Collection, and it's just like tons of Gunpla from like Seed. So when did Seed come out? About 2006, 2008, something like that was Seed. So that was kind of like the evolution of that. And then most recently, I just got the itch to build, and I've always gone back and bought a Gundam kit here and there. As new master grades have come out, and then, I never watched any of the anime. Let's go into that a little bit. They did anime, a lot of anime Zoids. like I say, it's been a thing in Japan since the 80s, and there's been many anime series of it. There's been manga of it and lots of other stuff, but I never really got into it. And I imagine there's a lot of people who've probably watched more than me, especially. Is it Genesis is the main one with the Blade Liger and all the Shield Liger, which is this thing here. So yeah, there's been quite a lot of media over the years, but it's still quite niche, and I like niche. That's the thing. So yeah, I was itching to build something not long ago. I can't remember, a couple of months ago. Now, and I remember this came out. Now this isn't a normal Zoid. A normal Zoid is usually like quite basic. Usually have a body, which has got a battery compartment in, spinny bits for the legs, and then a couple of bits to each end for make the head move and the tail move. And then you build on that body. So the legs are probably in about 10, 15 pieces, if that, and then bits for the body and all that sort of stuff. This is what they are calling, if we move a few bits, this is a, oh no, it's fell off. Oh, that's okay. This is what they call a masterpiece Zoid. So this is like Zoids clocked up to 11. So it's a lot more complicated. The action's more complicated. Like I say, you build it from scratch. It's got these, the originals had rubber press studs, which held everything together. These are actually plastic, and you had to use a tool to twist them and lock them into place. So it's a bit more sturdy. It's still quite simply detailed. I mean, I don't paint stuff. I only line and do stickers. So this hasn't been painted. Just a bit of black lining here and there. And like I say, the stickers are on. So yeah, I picked this up and was kind of really happy with it. Like I say, it's a bit more going on. It was like, I wanted to build something, but I don't want something too complicated, because if you've ever built a master grade or perfect grade Gundam, it's just so, irritating. It's not irritating, but it can be therapeutic, but sometimes it's kind of like, oh my god, there's 60 parts for this hand and arm, and it's just so, and you're just like, oh come on, let's just go. And then you do one arm, and then you think, oh, I've got to do all that again and do the other arm. You've got to be, nowadays, I mean, I was building kits like, 3 or 4 a week at the height, but nowadays I really need to be in the mood. So, yeah, this is kind of like simplified and, but kind of cool. It does have batteries in it. I think it's got 2 AAAs in, where all the old ones used to use 1 AA. And the motion's a bit more advanced, which I'll try to show you now. He will, so what we're going to see is like the body will like glow up. I might turn the lights off and do it again for you. We'll watch it a few times, and then all the body contracts, and then he walks, and then the head roars. So this one's actually got sounds as well. And there we go. And I'm going to have to push him back because I haven't got the room. And then it basically charges up and does it again. Now, the walking animation's a lot better. It's more like he drops on each side, more like a cat. The head tilt and that's super cool. It's quite basic, This kit's only about 70 quid. But compared to the older ones, I wish I had an old one here to show you. If I ever pick up an old one, I will throw a little video out there of it moving. But there's plenty online, as sure you can type in Zoids and find some of the older stuff, but some of the actually old ones had complicated movement and mechanisms. If you look up King Ghidorah, that's got a fantastic movement and kind of like a weird scream. It's really cool. But yeah, so that was basically what kind of got me started again. And yeah, it's done really nice. And the problem is though, they only released enough one of this because this is like a cat type. So basically, once they've built this body, they can change the head and the tail and a few of the weapons and a few of the colours, and they can make basically the tiger type on it. And there's so many different ones of these Ligers. There's Muramasa Liger and, like I say, the Blade Liger. This is Shield. There's tons of them. Like became like the poster boy for Zoids. So there's a lot of those knocking about. But unfortunately, they only did another one, which was basically a version of the Saber Tiger, which is the one behind, but this is a different model, which we'll go into, but they did a masterpiece version of it. Same kind of thing, but the Saber Tiger design instead. And it's had a slightly different startup. Again, if you YouTube, you will find stuff on there. So let's move the masterpiece out. And I'll bring in this one. Now this is, as you can see from the box on the back, this is by Kotobukiya. And this is called a HMM, which stands for, let me get it right, High-End Master Model. So this is basically like a gunpowder kit, a master grade gunpowder kit, but for Zoids. So this has got no batteries in it, no light ups, no nothing. I think some of the older ones, the newer ones might have. This is quite an old one. So I picked this up partly built off eBay. Now these go for about 70, 80 quid, and some of the older kits go for even more. I picked this up partly built off eBay for 20 quid. It's got a gun missing off the top there. And I think that's a, was that it? Yeah, and I think there's a piece missing underneath which you can't see. But apart from that, he'd built it like really strange. He'd like kind of built it backwards. So I had to completely strip it down and rebuild it. And basically it's a very highly posable model, which I'm not going to mess with too much because I've got it in a pretty decent pose. So I don't want to fuck that up. But as you can see here on the back legs, let's tilt up a little bit. You know, very, very stiff. Lots of movement. Let me take that bit off because it always falls off. And we've got all this articulation and stuff, which you can do. And there's movement in the legs, up, down. They rotate. It's very, very, very stiff. See these little pieces? These are going to fall off through the entire look at these. So I'm going to pull them off. And we've still got the compartment there for your little guy. Who's in there chilling. Movable mouth. All the guns rotate. Very, very stiff, some of them. Like these guys up here. This whole piece moves. And like I say, the legs all move, but I don't really want to mess with him too much because I've got him to where I like him. Yes, I told you this wouldn't be a review. It's more of just me talking. But they're very, very cool. I'm very happy with it. It's nice to build something that's not humanoid. Obviously, with mobile suits and Gundam, you get a lot of humanoid pieces. So to build something in the shape of a cat or tiger is super fun. And like I say, I really like the aesthetics of these because it kind of, like, we'll go on to Zoids Wild in a moment, which is the newest one. But through Genesis and all the other animes and that, they became more colourful and more based for kids, rather than weapons of war. If you look at the original Zoid stuff, it's like really dark and, you know, they are literally tanks with legs. And this has kind of got that aesthetic again. I like the darker colours, the muted tones. I like everything about this line. It's just a pain in the arse to find them because they're like, it doesn't seem like they put them out again. They just did like the one run on them and that was it. And there's been no more, which is a bit disappointing. So I'm kind of keeping my eyes out for pick them up here and there. Now, one thing I would like to end on these is either light ups or the motors. Like the master grade's really cool, but I'd like a bit more of this on there, a bit more detail, a few more parts. Somewhere between the master grade and this would be, you know, perfect. Absolutely perfect. But they are very, very cool kits if you can get your hands on one. And this is only one of the small ones. I mean, the Gajulus, which is like the big T-Rex. Well, T-Rex say it's fucking Godzilla. It's huge, a huge piece. It looks like it's going to be a massive undertaking. The same with the basically King Kong gorilla, Iron Kong. Now, that's what I was going to show you. If you've never built a kit before, they come on these things, which are called sprues. So all the pieces here, you snip them out, you shave them down, and you just snap them together. There's no glue required. And like I say, painting's optional. I haven't painted that, I have lined it, which is basically you get a pen and mark in the details. So where it looks like there's details where there's black, that's been marked in with a pen. It's very simple, like I say, very therapeutic. And here's your instruction book, so you get like ideas for if you painted this up, ideas for poses. As you can see, the weapons on the back of that have been all painted up. It's all in Japanese, of course, but that doesn't stop you at all. It's all just numbered and lettered. So there you go, building the head. If you've never built a kit before, I really would recommend starting with a normal Zoid. But once you get into it, or maybe with some of the smaller Gunpla, the 144, the HUGC is really good. HGUC, High Grade Universal Century. They're really cool. You know, there's a lot of cheap kits out there. You can get one anywhere from 10, 15 quid, and then you can pay up to like 150, 200 quid for kits. So there's every level for, you know, beginner to professional. I wouldn't even, no, I'm just above beginner. Now, there is a new Zoid series that's running now, a new anime. And as you saw in this one, and in the Shield Liger in the cockpit, there's two little guys, so they're huge machines. But like I say, it's been more towards kids nowadays. So this is one of the new ones from Zoids Wild. It's a big beetle. I just picked this up to see what it's like. This is like a tenner. This is like one of the basic ones. But as you can see on the back, there's a clear guy riding it. Can I take that off? This is hard trying to do it through the viewfinder. Yeah, so the gimmick on these, that's lost forever. Aha. The gimmick on one of these is that they actually ride them. So there is a Liger character in the new one, and he just jumps on the back of it and rides it. It's kind of strange. So this is like a little stag beetle thing. And not only do they run on batteries, these run on wind-ups. So these are clockwork. Clockwork? What do you call it, clockwork? Yeah, it's clockwork, isn't it? So you wind them up. And away he goes. How thrilling. And then these guys have like a gimmick. How the fuck do I do this now? So this comes out. Oh, that was not right. There's something here that flips out, if I remember right. Really wished I'd looked at this before I decided to do this. Of course, the kids one. Aha! So that thing basically comes at the front, and then when he walks, it goes up and down. Let's do that again a bit better. Like that. Let's wind him up again. So it's just a little wind up on the side. They actually made different size wind ups. So you had really teeny tiny ones, like really simple Zoids. It's quite fascinating, really. What is this for a nerdy geek boy like me? It's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind picking up this. The show's kind of awful. The Zoids Wild show. It's not. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! It's not great, but it's okay. Some of the designs are alright, but this for me is what I like. I like this because they look military style. I want children's style. I want military. I've just noticed I've been talking for 20 minutes. So there you go, guys. Just a bit about Zoids. I might do a few more of these. There's lots of stuff I'd like to talk about. Guyver, Kinnikuman. But I'll probably go over those sorts of things when the statues come. Oh boy, they're going to be long reviews. So yeah, quick look at Zoids. Was that a quick look? I don't know. I don't really know. But it was a look. It was a look at Zoids. And just a little bit about, you know, my love for Zoids. But, you know, in a month's time, I might not give a fuck about Zoids. That's the way I am. Deal with it. So there you go, guys. Just wanted to do that. I had to get that. I had to scratch that itch, that Zoid itch. You know, the Zoid itch. Yeah. So there you go, guys. And, yeah, back soon with more reviews, more normal videos. And yeah, see you soon. And give me, if you're a Zoid fan, if you've got a Zoid channel, or you build this stuff, let me know. I'm always interested in Zoid channels. Zoid channel? I don't know. This is going nowhere. I'm gonna go. Okay, guys. Bye.